Today I will be doing my concept attainment lesson on living and non-living objects. This is for Ed 535 with Dr. Jensen, and my name is Jessica Patnode. What is concept attainment? Concept attainment is a teaching model that uses many different examples. Concept attainment lessons help students think of their own hypothesis and create new hypothesis answers. It also helps them to decide if the hypothesis they had was actually accurate and how to create new hypotheses on their own. My lesson plan design is for kindergartners, and it teaches them the difference between living and non-living objects. The purpose of my lesson plan is to compare and contrast the attributes of living and non-living objects. This is a kindergarten life science standard in our school and is listed as a first grade skill in the first grade Life Science North Dakota State Standards. The lesson learning objectives for this lesson will be students will understand the different attributes of living things. Students will compare living and non-living things. Students will make a collage of living and non-living things from magazines, and students will collaborate with a group to discuss picture cards and determine their similarities and differences. The rationale behind my lesson. I chose to do the Deductive Concept Attainment Model 1 because it will offer different examples of living and non-living things, and the students will have to categorize and compare the objects. It will also help them attain the skill of forming a hypothesis. Materials and setup. For this lesson, I will be using picture cards of animals, plants, and non-living objects, big sheet of chart paper, collage papers, magazines, internet videos of living things eating and moving. In phase 1, the concept identification stage, I will let the kindergartners know what the concept we will be studying is, and that's the living and non-living objects. In phase 2, we will be looking at different examples of living and non-living objects. The first 4 examples I chose were a chair, a car, a horse, and a rabbit. In stage 3, the students will look at the pictures, then form a hypothesis about what they think the living things have in common and what they believe the non-living things have in common. Some hypothesis answers may be living things need food, living things move, living things need water, and living things are animals. Then we repeat phase 2. We look at 4 more pictures or 4 more examples of living and non-living things. We're looking at plants, we're looking at a hippo, a desk, and a pencil in this example set. Then we repeat the hypothesis phase. The teacher and students go through the previous hypothesis answers to see which of the hypotheses are still true. Add and delete the ones that need to be worked on. Some that may need to be deleted are that all living things move and non-living things do not. Some non-living things move through other means. One thing that may need to be added is living things need air, or living things may grow. For stage 4 of the concept attainment, we're looking at closure. The teacher selects 4 more examples. Students and teacher finish going through all the hypothesis answers that were given and categorize each of the picture cards into the appropriate groups. of living and non-living objects. And in stage 5, the students look through magazines and find examples of living and non-living objects to cut them out and put them into groups. Students are broken into groups of 3 with varying academic levels to make a collage with the pictures they found. This will help all levels to discuss. This will also help the students who understand more of the pictures, help the students that may not understand the pictures. You can also add culturally diverse pictures to help the students add to their vocabulary. The groups then will tell the class about their collage. The teachers will then show different internet videos of how living things breathe, eat, and do things on their own to do a wrap up to help the visual learners become more involved. I found I was going from the concept attainment 1 and the concept attainment number 2 in my reflection. I think that these models would be very beneficial for my students because we do many things where the students need to form their own opinions and draw conclusions, and we don't spend a lot of time with that. I think I need to do more activities where they do this model to help them learn how to identify their own opinions and hypotheses. I tried this lesson with my class. It went very well. The only problem I had was the students had a hard time with understanding that plants are living. When I got them to understand that plants are living and they need air and food to survive, they started asking why a tree is considered living and a pencil is not living. I had to explain the difference, and it turned into a death and dying subject. It was a really good assignment, but the kindergartners had a lot of questions that I wasn't really prepared to answer about dying, and then they started talking about grandmas and grandpas dying, so they really expanded their minds, but it was kind of hard to keep them on track towards the end when we talked about plants and how plants, after we cut down trees, they form different things. So it was a good assignment, but kind of interesting.